What's up, guys? Matt Modak here to give you my favorite NFL player prop picks. We are talking Chiefs versus Jags on Monday night. I'm going to have a couple player prop picks for you guys to lock in. We're going to get into all that. But before we do, we'll do a recap from how Sunday went. Now, this is recapping every single play. I'm recording this before Sunday Night Football, but I don't have a play for Sunday night, so this includes everything. Not a terrible day in terms of units lost, down 0.3 units. So it wasn't like we just totally lost our ass or anything like that. The Rico Dowdle rushing yards ladder, that really saved us. Could have laddered that a lot higher than 80 plus because he ended the game with like 200 rushing yards. We also cashed out Garrett Wilson receiving yards as well. A little bit lucky to cash that one out, but the money still counts all the same. Tough game script with the Michael Pittman one. He had like 40 receiving yards in the first half, but they didn't really do anything. They didn't need to pass at all in the second half of that game. Just a bad read on Jameson Williams. I thought he was going to get going a lot more than he did. I think he only had one reception for 9 yards in this game. And then tough game script and tough read on this Woody Marks one as well. I definitely didn't expect the Ravens to get absolutely blown out. I also expected Woody Marks to play a lot more. So I'm not going to sit here and say that he definitely would have cashed if the game was closer. What I can say is that the game not being close really did not help us at all. So I don't even think he had a reception, or if he did, he only had one. So all in all, again, we didn't completely lose everything, but could have been a lot better. Down 0.29 units on the year, down 0.71. That's obviously not fantastic. Week 5 heading into Monday night, we'd like to be in the green on the year. Couple bad beats, couple bad reads, really just haven't been able to get ourselves. Like the best profit we've had on the year was week 1, 2.5 units. Completely lost everything in week 3. Very, very bad week. And then we're starting to kind of make it back from there. We'll see how Monday night goes. If we have a good Monday night, guess what? We will be in the green on the year if Monday night goes our way. So make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. That stuff helps me out a ton. Now we'll talk about our plays. So the first play we're going to talk about here is Xavier Worthy. And I'm playing him in a couple different ways. So I'm taking him 6+ receptions. I'm taking him 80+ receiving yards. And I'm taking him 100+ receiving yards. Now, the unit sizing I'll go over at the end, but that's how I'm playing everything for Xavier Worthy. Now, we'll start with the receptions. What I want to talk about here, and we're taking him 6+, not this over 4.5 number. What I want to talk about here is you look at his last, 8 games that he's played. He's hit 6 or more receptions in 5 of those 8 games. Now, you take out this game against the Chargers because he got hurt literally on the first drive of the game, so you just take that game out. It's actually 5 of 7. He's averaging over 8.5 targets in this stretch. In both times, he did not hit 6 receptions. Guess what? 5 and 5. Now, one game that he missed was last game. It was the most recent game against the Ravens. Guess what? This was his first game back after separating his shoulder the first game of the year. So he only played 59% of the snaps. But look at the role he had in this game. 8 targets is fantastic. 5 receptions and only 59 snaps is fantastic. And this was a game that the Chiefs, they were winning by 24 in the fourth quarter. So they kind of let their foot off the gas in that game. But you go back to last year, again, he ended it on a really nice run. Even if you go back a couple games before he was hitting 5 receptions, 5 receptions. Everything changed around this end of November, early December mark. His role was different. Like at the beginning of the year, it was not great for Xavier Worthy. 2 receptions, 3 receptions, 4 receptions. Didn't hit 5 receptions until the end of November. You want to know what changed around this time frame? His role. At the beginning of the year, he was being used almost exclusively on deep targets. So he wasn't catching a lot of balls. 8 targets in this one's pretty good, but caught 4. 8 targets, caught 3. It just wasn't working, right? It was a rookie. He wasn't tracking the deep ball well. He couldn't get both feet in bounds. He struggled with drops. So they changed it right around this time. Again, you see here in November, they started using him a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. They started using him on a lot of wide receiver screens, slant routes, some bubble screens, something to get the ball in his hands and to let his speed work for him in that way, instead of using him on deep shots. Now, last week against the Ravens, it was a little bit of both. He did get going on a deep target. He also had a lot of short stuff as well, so his ADOT was pretty reasonable. But the receptions has been really good. And then last week he had 83 yards. And again, playing 59% of the snaps. So I really, really like this matchup for Xavier Worthy a lot. Now, speaking of the matchup, it doesn't look like a good matchup on paper against a good Jags defense, but they really do struggle specifically against number 1 options. Nico Collins, 104 yards, over-under was 70.5. Jamar Chase. Remember, Joe Burrow got hurt in the first half of this game. So a lot of this damage was done with the quarterback who stinks, whose name escaping me, Jake Browning. 165 yards, even week one against a gross Panthers offense that couldn't do anything. Tet McMillan hit his over-under. 68 yards is not amazing. Over-under 62.5. He went over. And the Jags won this game. It says lost by 16, but that's wrong. They won this game pretty handily against the Panthers in week one. Maybe it came a little close at the end, but whatever. And the snap rate is another thing that I really like for Xavier Worthy. You see it kind of slowly start to trickle up as last year ended, playing 91% of snaps in the Super Bowl. Now, this year, you can't look at his snap rate because he got hurt in week one, and then he was coming off of that injury in week two. Now, I know he's listed as questionable. He arrived to Jacksonville, and his ankle was a little bit swollen. Sometimes that happens on flight. He doesn't seem to be in any concern of missing the game, and I don't think his role is going to be any different. If anything, they're going to use him more than we saw him used last week. So I do think that this matchup is really, really good for Xavier Worthy. That's our first play of the video. Xavier Worthy, 80 plus, 100 plus receiving yards, and 6 plus receptions. Next up, we're sticking in the receiving yards market, and we're going over to Travis Etienne, and we're taking him over 9.5 receiving yards. Now, you can get this at -118 odds at BetMGM. That's actually a little bit of a better price. I got -120. So those of you that are betting it right now, you can get 2 cents better, but hey, it all adds up in the end. For this one, I'm just putting this in the category of little bit too low of a line. You look at Travis Etienne, his last 36 games, he's gone over in 26 of those 36 games. He's averaging 21 receiving yards per game. That's fantastic. You look at him specifically with Trevor Lawrence, who's missed some time, over in 20 of 28 games, 71% hit rate, averaging 21 receiving yards per game. Even last year, which everybody says was a bad year for Travis Etienne, still went over in 5 of 8 games, specifically with Trevor Lawrence, averaged 13.5 receiving yards per game, well over this over-under. You take out, you just look at every game. So he was a little bit better with Mac Jones, but still 10 of 15 games, 5 of 8 with Trevor Lawrence. Now you look at this year, he hit it in the first 2, he missed it in the next 2. This game, he had a really good rushing number against the 49ers. He ran for 124 yards. Granted, he had a good rushing day in these first 2, and he still went over. But I'm not expecting him to have a good day on the ground against the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs have a very, very good run defense. As you can see, only 2 of 5 running backs have hit their over-under against the Chiefs. Now, Saquon Barkley, over-under was 96.5. He had 88 yards, so he had a decent game, went under his over-under. Amario Hampton went over barely, and then Scattaboo, he went over, but this was the game that their other starting running back got hurt in the first drive of the game, Tyrone Tracy. So Scattaboo played a lot more than he was supposed to. And then you look at the receiving yards, it's a lot better for running backs. Now, the Scattaboo argument is kind of the inverse because he wasn't supposed to play as much as he did. He actually hit this over before Tyrone Tracy even got hurt. Hampton barely went over, still went over. Last week, both Derrick Henry and Justice Hill went over. Now, Hill hit his on like one last play that ended up being a broken play. And one thing that's missing here is Saquon Barkley. I'm not sure why he's not being pulled into this number here. He did not go. So it's 4 of 5 in terms of running backs that went over their receiving yardage prop against the Chiefs. But I'm not expecting the Jags to do a great job. Excuse me, I'm not expecting the Jags to have a great running game in this game. I'm also expecting them to be losing a decent amount in this game as well, which just leads to a lot of receiving work, a lot of passing plays and stuff like that. So Travis Etienne, I think, is going to have a good game through the air. Over, again, it's 9.5 receiving yards, backing Xavier Worthy as well. And that's all we got. So the plays that we're locking in here, then we can get on out of here. I told you it was a little bit interesting how we're playing Xavier Worthy, but we're playing him 6 plus receptions, 80 plus receiving yards, and 100 plus receiving yards. This is actually 0.75 units on the receptions, half unit on 80 plus, quarter unit on 100 plus. If he hits the receptions and nothing else, we're making money. If he hits 80 plus yards and nothing else, we're making money. That's kind of how I played things in this one. And then Travis Etienne over 9.5 receiving yards. That's all we got. So I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, check out Props Madness. You kind of saw how I use Props Madness, looking at snap rate, looking at historical matchups and stuff like that. I also put a link to my Tails account as well. This is just where I send every play out. Like today, I played this profit boost on FanDuel. This one actually ended up hitting. Funny enough, this one ended up hitting the profit boost that I sent out on FanDuel. But everything that I'm playing, the first thing you see me do, or the first thing I should say, the first thing I do is I send it out on my Tails account. So that way, if you want to tail, but you don't always want to watch the YouTube videos, Tails is for you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.